This is a 2017 Jeanneau NC14, and these are an intriguing boat. The whole idea of these, they actually referred to this as a new concept when it first came out, and the idea was to just create a really practical and usable motorboat. Now the 14 refers to the length, they do different sizes of NC. 14 is 14 meters, it's about 45 feet long. And as I say, a very practical deck saloon boat. We'll go on board and we'll take a look. I will just show you underneath first of all. This one's on IPS drives, so that's pod drives, that's these fellas down here. It's in the middle of being serviced at the minute, which is why the props are on one and not the other. But these actually swivel independently of each other, and that is what gives you incredible manoeuvrability, because they will actually vector independently. It's all computer controlled. You have a joystick, you push the joystick the way you want the boat to go, and away it goes. There's a high-low platform on this one as well. This is the mechanism for it, so you can see the rams for it here. So this will drop down to launch a tender. It also has the world's smallest tender garage. I'll show you that in just a moment. I was intrigued. But we'll head up on board and I will give you the full tour. So this is the high-low platform from above. Another intriguing factor with this is you've got the cockpit here, and the idea with this is that this whole moulding will slide. You can see it's in the rearward position at the moment, and that's giving you maximum cockpit space. You've got loads of deck space just here, but what you can do with this, if I come back down here, it bolts into place. It's unbolted at the minute, which means we can give it a shove. The whole lot moves forward, and now we've increased the amount of area that we've got over the bathing platform. And I'm going to show you this tender garage. This is hilarious. Can I do this with one hand? Yes, I can. Look at that, there's a tender in there. I think that's absolutely fantastic. I mean, you probably mostly use it for deck gear, but it will take an inflatable, as we can see just there. I'm going to slide this one back again because it will allow us to get to the engine. So that just comes back again. There we go, you can see it. If I slide it, you can see the difference that makes. You can access on both sides, and of course there are doors that come across. That's these little fellas here, which we need to lift in order to swivel. There we go, that drops across like that. So you've got really good protection with that closed. That is the button for that high-low platform. And I think what we'll do is head on to the inside first of all. Now this is what I mean about it being so practical, because you can have canopies around here, or you can just take these cushions off and leave it all open. There's no flybridge, there's no big acres of canopy over the helm. You've just got this area here, which is straight into the cabin. And this door is actually a, he checks, 1, 2, 3, 4-piece door, which means it comes really wide opening, and in fact you can slide that in either direction. So if you prefer to have it over on this side, then you can do. And the reason for that is because one of the very many practical details on this is this section here lifts and then slides the other way, and now you've got aft facing seating. It makes this a very social area, but also of course sat here you are in the shelter of the deck saloon. So on a day that's not quite so clement, that's a really great place to sit. And with those doors slid across the other way, of course, you haven't got them in your way of your legs when you're sat on this side. So that's neat. There we go. If we work our way around here, a lot more detail. So this table, for example, will slide. It's on these sections here. You can bring it out a bit or put it in a bit, and it folds, and it's telescopic. So that's very adaptable there. And even this section here, you can have it so you can sit all the way around with this slid out, or you can slide these away. They go back underneath. And that means that you've basically got like more of a diner situation rather than having these in the way. So it just depends how you want to use the boat. There is a backrest section that goes across here. We've taken it out for the minute because this is giving us access to things like the heater controls, the main battery switches, all that kind of stuff. That's all directly accessed from there. There's storage everywhere. I'm not going to open it all, but wherever you go on this boat, you find little storage areas. And also one great big storage area, which I'm going to show you in just a minute. So what we refer to as the wine cellar, and you'll see why in a moment. Galley is on this side, so it's a galley up layout. Brilliant, of course, because you've got the big windows here, you've got the fresh air from here. You can cater straight out to the cockpit, so that's quite nice the way that's positioned. There's a fridge inside that one. This is all storage across here. Cutlery and so on. It's gas cooking, so there's no need for a generator. It's diesel-fired heating as well on this one. So that is an oven, and then the hob is underneath here. Again, all gas. And then that one lifts up like so to give you a sink. And the other thing we have here actually is just in behind there, if I can find the button for it, which I think is over here. There we go, pop-up TV. Thusly. And I'll show you the rest of this main deck before we head for the wine cellar. Let's go up here. This again, very adaptable area because that's a chaise lounge at the minute, but that's a table underneath there. And it's on a telescopic leg, so you can bring that up and have that as a nice little dining area. And this backrest also drops forward like that and then clips into place. So with that raised up, that's a very nice little area to sit and eat. And a great view out because you've got these windows that drop all the way down. The helm is over on this side, more adaptability and more storage as well. If we look in, for example, here, there's a drawer that goes right across underneath there. They've packed it into everywhere. This is quite interesting. This is just a sliding section that you can place wherever you want, and then it bolts into place. There we go, like that. And so you can have it at the helm or move it across a bit as a step out to the door or do whatever you want to do with it. That one is a lift bolster, so you can drop that one across and sit at the helm or lift it up out of the way, which makes it easier to get across. And if we look here, you'll notice this is all in soft touch dark material, so it doesn't reflect on the windscreen, which is quite important. We've got the multifunction display here. Switch gear, of course, is across here, so anchor winch, wipers, screen wash, horn, all that kind of stuff. That's all easily accessible. Bilge pumps are there, water pump, and so forth. And then across here, steering wheel, of course, the revs for the engines, and that's a helm indicator, so that's telling you how much lock you've got on in either direction. Trim tabs are here, and this is the joystick I was mentioning. So this allows you to manoeuvre the boat when you're in close quarters and going slowly. You can twist that, and the boat will twist. You can push it to the side, and the boat moves to the side. Huge amount of manoeuvrability with that. There's a bow thruster there as well if you want it. Then those are the normal throttles, so you go into gear and then throttle up, so when you're out at sea, that's what you use when you're manoeuvring in a marina. You'd use that. And the other thing that we have here is a side access door. So this fella here, we just pull like that, slides open, you've got direct access straight out onto the deck. If you're short-handed, that's brilliant because you've got a cleat right here. You can put a rope straight onto there. Just makes life very easy. We will have a wander around the deck in a minute. And the other thing we've got here then is a huge sliding roof section. That's up here, and there's a button up here. This has got the most hilarious alarm I've ever heard. So you push it, and it bleeps away. But when you take your finger off, it does sound a bit like someone's shot it. Bang! Killed it. Makes me chuckle every time. These little fellas here are blinds that come across, so at night you can cover that up, or if you don't want the sun beating through it, then that's how you would deal with that. Okay, that is most of the main deck, but I've got to show you this wine cellar because it's fantastic. It's not really a wine cellar, but it looks like it. Underneath this section here, which side are we with that side, we can pop these catches. This is a real nod to just how practical this boat is, because it's designed so that if you wanted to go away for, I don't know, a few weeks at a time or a month or two, you've got this vast area down here. If we step on down, this is absolutely brilliant for things like tools you could keep in here, or whatever you wanted to keep in here you could, of course. So there's all sorts of stuff you can keep in there. Other things in here, infill cushions, that's to convert the saloon into another sleeping area, and that one there is to go on the back. The cockpit there has got a telescopic leg for the table, so that can drop down and make that into a sunbathing area. Look at this as well. There's a wine cooler down here, more storage. You can come all the way around here, and then this one gives us access into an engineering space, so electronics and plumbing and all that kind of stuff, and it's even illuminated in there. That's really nice. So that's that fella. Okay, let's come back out of here. Very useful handle to help yourself out. I bet you didn't expect that. So that closes down like so. These are wooden floors, of course, so you don't need to have the carpet if you don't want it. Round here, yet more storage down inside of there. This is a central heating outlet for diesel-fired heating. And if we head on down to the lower deck then, they did a couple of layout options with this, and they all had 2 cabins. So if we go into here, this is the owner's cabin, so this is the largest one. And it's really spacious. They've not tried to cram too much in. Quite often in 45-foot boats they'll try and get 3 cabins in. They've not done that with this. And so you've got a huge footprint here. Really comfortable, nice little desk area or dressing area, whatever you use that for. Brilliant for working from home, but actually the boat, because you can put your laptop on there. And then again, you've got storage in here. Hanging locker there, for example. That's a hatch up ahead so that you can get ventilation into here or another route out of this area. And then more hanging over here, more storage over here. They really have used it all. You've got big windows in the hull as well, and you've got blinds that come down across those. And these are actually scissor beds. It's made up as a double at the moment, but these are in 2 sections so that you can slide these to the edge. I won't do it too very far because I don't want to mess up his bed, but you can see how that moves. And it means that if you want to, you can split that apart and just have 2 single beds, one each side. So that's a nice touch. Okay, if we spin on round, this is ensuite access into the heads. Really good size. You've got your sink in there, you've got the toilet of course, and then you've got a separate shower area. So that closes across here, and that means you can shower in here and keep everything else dry. And that's the shower just there. So that pulls out and then clips in up here. So very nice shower area. You'll notice there's another door just here, and the reason for that is because there's another door there. So that takes you into exactly the same area. Like so. Second cabin then is around here. And that, again, pretty decent size. You step into here, you've got good headroom, and it drops a bit over the beds, but still pretty decent. Got some nice lighting in here, as you can see down in the centre. And then 2 decent single beds. Again, storage down in the centre there. You've got a hanging locker up in behind here, and so forth. And again, nice big windows. Those rectangular sections, those are opening sections, so you can get some ventilation in there if you want it. I mentioned the different options. You could have this boat with 2 toilet compartments, 2 heads. This one's got the heads over on the port side, which is this one, but it doesn't have the second heads. What they have instead is this, which is a really good, it's almost like a little utility area, isn't it? So you've got a big hanging rail there, you've got a load more storage down there. And again, a lot of the time, boats like this are just run by a couple with very occasional guests, and you don't necessarily want 2 toilets, and so the extra space that that gives you, for a lot of people, is more valuable. So that's a nice touch. See, even down here, they put bits of storage down underneath the stairs just there, and these are little lights that light it up at night. So come out of here, we'll take a turn around the deck, and then I'll show you those engines. So we'll come right back here. This one has asymmetric decks. Now what that means is that there's always a trade-off between how wide your side decks are and how wide your saloon is. That's the area that converts into a double bed. So the wider you make the decks on the outside, obviously it squeezes this in. So what they've done with this one is they put one wide deck on this side, and that makes it a really easy boat to walk around. You've got this deep bulwark here as you come around. We can come up this side. That's the side door from the helm that we saw a moment ago. And then we can step on up to the foredeck. We've got sunbathing cushions, they're covered up at the moment, but that's what's underneath here. And then right round to the front where we've got the electric anchor winch and the anchor and so forth. But if we carry on round, you can see the width of that one. This one is narrower. Still perfectly usable. In fact, we'll go all the way around. But this wouldn't be a regular route. You'd come over onto this side if you're cleaning the boat or if you're hanging the fenders out, that sort of thing. But mostly, if you get out to the bow, you'd wander up the other side where it's a bit wider and a bit easier. Just so we're going past, that's that sliding roof. Let's move back a little bit, and you can see the opening section. And then up on the top there, you've got the radar, remote control searchlight, the antennas, now lights, TV aerial, and all that kind of stuff. Decent rail here, so it's a nice easy boat to walk around, and in fact on this side this rail extends all the way back, so it actually takes you back into the cockpit, which is nice. So there we go, only engines to do. And they're under the floor here. We'll lift that one up. Now she is being serviced, so we've got propellers and things in here, so I'm not going to actually get down into there, but I will show you that we have a pair of Volvo Penta IPS 500 engines. They did IPS 400, which I think are 260 horsepower, and these IPS 500 were a larger option, and these are 370 horsepower. And they're going to give the boat probably about 30 knots, I'm going to guess, that sort of top end, cruising there for 20 to 25, which for this sort of boat, of course, is plenty. And the range on these, about 200 miles, somewhere around there, maybe a bit more. But all pretty decently get-atable. There is a ladder there. It's down on the floor at the minute because they've moved it out of the way so they can get right in and around for servicing. But that's normally, it clips onto here, and that's a route down if you just want to go down and check the oils, because things like the dipsticks are handed into the centre here, so they're easy to get to. And you can get to your raw water filters. You can get to top up your cooling water and so forth. So there we go. Let's drop that one back down. And that is about the size of it, really. I think it's a really fascinating boat. As I say, they've not tried to make it super sleek, they've not tried to make it super complicated, they've just tried to create a really practical, easy to use boat, and I think they've succeeded really well. Okay, I am going to take a seat over here, and I'm going to say huge thanks to Parker Adams for organising that tour, and huge thanks, of course, to you guys for watching. Let me know what you think of that one, and we'll catch you on another one of these real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.